The tilt is real. Tilt is real. This is when the tilt is real. Let's go.
Welcome in to the Sunday Tilt with your hosts, the FF Chef himself, Juan Carlos Pena, and John JAWN Swanson.
It is Sunday, my dudes. This is when the tilt is real. This is when the tilt is real.
Good morning and happy Sunday, Tilters. It is week 13, and man, oh man, for all of you that are waiting endlessly to get into those playoffs, this is the week that may determine whether or not you get in. We have 2 weeks left, week 13 and 14, that is, to finalize playoff spots, finalize our walk-in victories to the finals. I know some of you, if you're a tilter, you've got to have that first week bye in the playoffs. That's what it's all about. I mean, just to relax, kick your feet up. You don't have to play anything. You take a week off, spend some time with family, maybe cut down a Christmas tree or something. But man, you got to pay your dues. And you got to tilt a little bit. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm waiting a little bit for my brother in arms, Mr. Juan Carlos Pena, who will be joining us shortly. But as that happens, let's get into some questions. And our first question this morning comes in from Delusional Tanner. And Delusional Tanner always comes into this chat. Shout out to Delusional Tanner. And he wants to know full PPR, sit one, Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White, and Najee Harris. I mean, running back questions that we would never normally see. I mean, it's just amazing that we actually have to think about whether or not Najee Harris is actually going to play. And if you check down below on the ticker, he is questionable to play today. He's been dealing with a foot injury. We don't know if he's going to play. It just, I don't know. It's kind of an icky situation. Let's bring in Juan. Juan's here now. Let's go. Juan, are you here?
I am here. I just don't have camera, Chef. But I am.
That's
here.
all right. That's all right. We always said you had a face for
radio.
Face for radio. Yeah.
Indeed. It is Sunday, my dudes.
It is Sunday.
Shout out Mr. Swanson.
Oh, Mr. Swanson, we miss you. Wherever you may be, we miss you.
The man of mystery himself.
Yep. So, Juan, just to kick it off, we're going with a full PPR sit one, Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White, or Najee Harris.
That's tough. I'm definitely starting Jeff Wilson out of that three. Even though it's a tough matchup, he's been getting the bulk of the carries. I feel like it's going to be rainy out there in San Fran, and that game's going to be a lot closer than people think. I don't think it's going to be the wild shootout everyone's predicting because of the wind and rain. But between Rachaad White and Najee, Jaylen Warren may not play, so that means maybe more pass catching for Najee, so it gives you that bump. But I think I want to start Rachaad White to keep riding the hot hand. I think I'm going to sit one, as tough as it is. I might sit Najee, Chef.
To
Is
be
that what
honest,
you came up with?
I mean, he's a game time decision, so that's something that really dictates whether or not I'm going to play him. And we haven't heard anything yet. It's going to come down to the injury reports. To be honest, I don't know if I want to play Jeff Wilson.
Really?
Yeah. Like you said, it's a tough defense. I'm avoiding this matchup for fantasy purposes. I would rather try to deal with Rachaad White, especially if Leonard Fournette doesn't get a full workload. We've seen Rachaad White do well. And then Najee Harris, we don't know what's going to happen with Jaylen Warren today. So there are question marks, and I would have to lean towards injury designations than anything else, which is, it's just a headache and a half, to be honest.
So if you're ranking these three, what you're saying is you're going healthy Najee, Rashad White, Jeff Wilson, or are you going Rashad White, Najee 2, Jeff Wilson 3?
Yeah, I mean, all we got to do is cut one. I don't
Yep.
know if I would put Rashad White over Najee. He's got a decent matchup against Atlanta, so I guess I would. Give me Najee Harris against Atlanta, who was cleared to play. Didn't carry injury designation into today. Rashad White. Rashad White. Let's see what we can get on him.
You know, I like that Monday night hope, Chef. You know, like it's always intriguing for me when I can have a little chance to make a comeback on Monday night.
I think it's going to be Najee and Rashad White for me, and I'm going to pass on Jeff Wilson. I think Raheem Mostert comes back in this one, and he does split the work with Jeff Wilson, especially since they're going up against the number 1 rated run defense in the league. I mean, San Francisco hasn't allowed a second half touchdown in the past couple weeks, and it just scares the living bejesus out of me. So, for all intents and purposes, I am going to sit Jeff Wilson out of this trio here.
All right. I like Jeff Wilson. I don't think that Mostert's going to get as many carries as everyone thinks. First game back, he's been nursing that injury back to health. But I don't know.
It's a tough one.
It is. The really delusional Tanner early, first 5 minutes, hit us with a tough one.
Yeah.
I think I'll go White and Najee.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right, Eric Brewer checking in. Hey, guys, got to start 1 half-point PPR. Gus Edwards, Antonio Gibson, Kyron Williams, or Zonovan Bam McKnight. I'm leaning towards Williams or Gibson. Thanks as always. Now Gibson, he's been dealing with some injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though he is expected to play today, he's got a foot injury. He's going up against the Giants team that has been decent against the run. And I believe Brian Robinson is going to get a little bit more of a workload than we expect. Now, Kyron Williams, I am not attempting to play Kyron Williams.
I don't trust the Rams at all.
If I can avoid any Rams player, I am. And Zonovan Knight looked pretty good last week. All right. He had
14 carries, 69 yards. He had like 32 receiving also.
Yeah, 3 for 34 through the air. And I think it continues against Minnesota. So give me the rookie, Zonovan Knight, this week in a game that the Jets have to win. Especially in a half-point scenario where you're just calculating the yards. Yeah, give me Zonovan Knight. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries.
Yeah, he might get closer to 20 carries. I mean, they are going to use Ty Johnson some, but Carter being doubtful just makes it his backfield, and they're going to want to run the ball, keep the game close, keep the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands, and Justin Jefferson in that powerful offense. I think that's the way to go, Chef. Zonovan Knight.
Yeah, sounds good.
What'd you call him? Zonovan Bam?
Bam Knight. Yeah, I think that's his name. His nickname from college was Bam.
I like it.
So,
good morning, Zach.
Good morning.
Good morning, Zach.
We got another one in here. Anthony, welcome, Big Ant. Good morning.
Big Ant, my camera's broken. You can't see my ugly mug this morning.
Man, let's start a GoFundMe page for Juan's cell phone, huh?
No, let's start. I got to trip to T-Mobile real quick and then get a new phone. How about that? I don't understand the settings. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. If I give it to somebody, if Mr. Swanson was around, he would have guided me in the right direction, or a technically savvy guy, and I might have been able to fix it. You tried to fix it, Chef, but no can do. No can do.
So I'm just staring at my own face in a ghost circle in yours.
Put up a little graphic where I'm supposed to be over there, a little tilt squad. Or put up the link.
I mean, is it easier for me to just go like this and and do center screen myself? Oh man.
Yep. Oh. All day. That's better. Yeah, do the big screen. Yeah, do that one.
All right, fair enough. Hey, before we get going any further with questions, I just want to talk about my DFS experience this week. All right, first and foremost, Juan, I beat you last week in our DFS matchup. So that was great. But it didn't end there. All right. Monday, I got an email saying, "Oh yeah, you have a data leak on this account and this, that, and the other." And I didn't pay any mind to it because I'm busy during the week. I'm selling mortgages, doing things, building relationships, building bridges, getting people into homes. And by Thursday, I was like, "Oh, cool. I'll bet some money on the Bills." Never got around to it, so I didn't even check my account. So yesterday, when I got an alert saying that there was a free bet on the USA soccer game, I was like, all right, cool. Let me just jump in there, place my free bet, and go on my way.
I
Noticing
like
that
it.
hundreds of dollars were missing from my DFS account.
Uh-oh.
And I freaked out. So apparently my DFS account from DraftKings was hacked.
No.
And it had some money in it. But what these stooges were doing, all right, what they were doing to me was placing phony bets. They were setting up DFS dailies in sports that I never bet on. Fantasy hockey? Does this look like a hockey guy to you?
A little bit.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I know you're
I
not.
can't name
You
one
kinda look like
active
one.
hockey player in the NHL. I'm sorry, I just can't. But
When in
I
doubt, just say it's the
realized that there was one game open. All right. And this guy was betting $100. He was signing me up for these head-to-head matchups in three-way head-to-heads. So sorry to the other poor fool that got tied up into it as well. And it was putting people that were on IR in my daily lineup
to take your money.
to
Wow.
take my money. And I caught on to it just in time because there was a hockey game at 2:00 yesterday. I don't know what hockey game it was, but being the fantasy analyst that I am, I could read a stat line and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other, and a matchup. And, I'm not going to play anybody that's on IR. And I filled out the customer support contacts, and I went in there and I started out and I said, okay, well, I filled out a claim. I filed a claim for the money, etc. And I was like, I'm going to hit this guy where it hurts. I went in and changed the lineup, Juan. And it was $100 buy-in. Wouldn't you know? I won. I kicked the SOB's
Nice.
butt, and I won the $300. So I got some of my money back.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's how did they hack your? That's crazy. These guys, man, with the hacking.
Yeah, technology, man. Technology at its best. But I felt like I won a little bit yesterday after the
That's a
hit
big
that I
win.
took. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I stuck it to the man that
win.
tried to take it from me.
Yeah, get them
Don't
back.
mess with
I
the
like
dirty
that.
jerseys. You know what I'm saying?
Dirty jersey, yes, sir.
All right, I'm sorry. That was a long-winded conversation, but I had to get that off my chest. Be careful
I
out there
enjoy it.
when using daily fantasy sports.
I'm just glad we didn't have to go roll up on them. Jersey,
Oh.
Go find them.
We got a thing, you say you're going to go swimming, you'll go swimming with the fishes. All right.
Look at little Big Ant's right there in the chat. He's like, I'm ready. All
Oh,
right,
man,
let's
I
go.
don't.
He's ready. Big Ant's always ready.
Where is he at?
He was. I'm just saying he's ready. I know he's ready. You got to
He's
post
always
it up
ready.
on the chat. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get back into it.
right,
Zach
Zach.
wants to know Zay Jones, Paris Campbell, AJ Dillon, Michael Gallup. He needs one flex play.
Oof, I'm trying to get a piece of that kitty cat game up there, man. The Jags and Lions. I don't know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am on
Motor
the
City Kitties.
same line as that. I am going Zay Jones, man.
Yeah. There's a reason Zach put him at first. Every time on these tilts, you can always tell, like, if you put it first, it's kind of like the one you want usually. But it's definitely, I think Zay Jones is the one.
Yeah, Detroit's banged up. Their defensive backs are banged up. The
Yup.
only starter from the original crew is Jeff Okudah, and he will be pretty much on Marvin Jones today. So that leaves Zay Jones to really go all over the field and just wreak havoc. Last week, Zay Jones just blew it up, man, like 13 targets or something like that. I mean, the man has been on fire. He seems to have a relationship and connection with Trevor Lawrence, and I think it's starting to pan out more. And the less that I have to eat this paper, the better.
Yeah, I think you're safe from that one today. I think Zay Jones gets the bulk of the targets today.
Yeah, but I believe Christian Kirk does have a good game. I mean, I'm not taking that away from him. After what we've seen him do the past couple days, I mean, I know he will be involved, but with this tilt, I am going Zay Jones here.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Chef.
All right, kicks from Mike, kicking in. What's going on? Flex and RB2. I don't know who CP is. Maybe you can help me out with that. Cordarrelle Patterson, perhaps.
Yeah,
Pollard,
probably.
Pierce, Dameon Pierce, Alec Pierce.
It's got to be Dameon Pierce, I'm sure.
All right.
Chef. I would think.
And
anyway,
Samaje Perine. Yep. Okay. So we got a running back heavy question here. We got a flex and an RB2. So we need 2 out of the 4 here. I'm playing Dameon Pierce today. I know he's had 2 bad weeks in back-to-back weeks. But Cleveland is almost dog last. We can almost say we could say dog last because the dog is never last in, but he's second to last in this situation. Cleveland 31st against fantasy running backs, giving up almost 25 fantasy points per game. I think Houston will want to stick it on the ground, keep it out of Deshaun Watson's hands, and run as much as possible. I think this is a run-first game on both sides of the ball, believe it or not. So lock Pierce in for 1.
I agree with that, Chef, and I'll add that Brandon Cooks isn't playing today, so even less throwing, even less passing from an already anemic passing offense. I think Dameon Pierce is the answer, so I agree with you 100% there.
All right, so we got to figure out one more, and it's between Tony Pollard, Cordarrelle Patterson. Patterson is interesting because of the passing work.
Yeah,
Pollard has been doing his thing. Offense. It's like, can we take Pollard out? Like, I don't know if we can, man. And this is where the tilt. This is where the tilt gets real because I don't know. I mean, yeah, he had 18 carries last week for 60 yards. He did catch just 2 receptions, only 1 yard. So that doesn't really bode well for him. But it's Indianapolis, middle of the pack run game. Zeke is back in the fold, but I believe that Pollard is still going to be utilized heavily. So I'm going to go Pollard and Pierce in this one.
I was going to say, let's at least eliminate Perine, and then Pollard gives you that thing, Chef, that thing that we all love. Any play could be a touchdown. The next carry or the next catch could be a home run, and you can get those bonuses for long plays, and he's one handoff away. So I like Pollard over Cordarrelle Patterson. Plus, they split the backfield too much in Atlanta, and they give too many carries to Huntley and too many carries to Algier, and you just don't know week to week. You said passing game. Sometimes they throw the ball 10 times in a game, so you can't trust that. Let's go with Pierce and Pollard.
Sounds good. Kicks from Mike also wants to know White, Pickens, Scary Terry.
Ooh.
Pickens, Scary Terry, and White. Who's White?
You.
Yeah. I was going to say it, and I bit my tongue.
Not me.
I don't know who White is. Are you?
Let me see if I can help you with that research.
Yeah, I'm a little. Oh, maybe he meant to add that in his quarterback question. In the next one, he says White, Jimmy G, Carr, and Goff. So we're pretty much setting his lineup here for you, kicks from Mike. So we have to figure out.
It could be Rashad White.
Oh yeah, that's it. Good call. So Rashad White, Pickens, or Scary Terry. Scary Terry going up against the Giants, or Dory Jackson is a little banged up.
Yeah, and they have to throw to someone, and he loves him too, man. Like Heineke just blindly likes to throw it to him.
I mean,
Pickens
I don't know if he's going to hit his ceiling today, but he's definitely going to get some action. As far as
probably the least amount of questions, Chef, are Scary Terry. Like the easiest thing to do is start Scary Terry and let that go. instead of, Rashad White, whether or not Fournette is there, Pickens. That offense is anemic, and sometimes they force it to them and they don't. And could be Deontay Johnson day. They could run the ball. Atlanta likes to take a lot of the clock away, so you don't get that many opportunities. I think Scary Terry has the least amount of questions in a game that they have to win. That's gonna be like a playoff game. That game with the at MetLife. So I think I take Scary Terry.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. And then for the quarterback question, he says, Mike White, Jimmy G, Carr, or Goff.
Oof.
Now, Goff is an interesting one.
And
I was so is
a
Mike
lot more
White.
Interesting than you think. Yep, because of the defenses that they're going up against, the conditions of the stadiums that they're playing, being in domes and in good places to play. But Carr is going up against the Chargers, and that could be a shootout. Jimmy G should be in a track meet too, but the weather there scares me off of Jimmy G. So I would go Goff or White. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's a toss.
It's whether or not who you pick. I'll give you a little, sneak peek into the draft if we do the DraftKings thing, because now that you have security issues. But I just did my Pit Bulls in Paradise Tilt is Real lineup before we got on the show, and my quarterback.
Maybe that's why your camera's not working.
Oh, maybe I got hacked. I went into DraftKings and got hacked. Mike White is my quarterback. I stacked him with Garrett Wilson. So, and I had all these quarterbacks to choose from. They're all around the same price range. I thought about Goff because that could be one of those games where he and Trevor Lawrence both throw for 350, 400 yards, and they just air it out all day long. But I think White against that Minnesota defense, the way they've been playing, and I watched NFL Matchup this morning with Greg Cosell and Sal Palantonio, and they really did a nice breakdown of how the offense has changed for the Jets ever since Mike White got in there, and the routes that they're running. And Elijah Moore should get a little bit of work today. I think I would go White.
I'm going to go White as
Goff?
well.
Oh, okay.
I was on that train. I have him. Garrett Wilson has a great matchup. Cam Dantzler might be out for this one. So I think I like the New York Jets keeping pace with Minnesota in a game where, they're in Minnesota today, correct? I believe
correct.
So. Yeah, so in a dome, no weather involved. It's going to be a clean game. I think it's going to go back and forth. Both defenses are good to an extent, but I think that the offense is going to be the most explosive part of this game. We've seen Garrett Wilson just create play after play after play. Yards after the catch are unbelievable. Yeah, give me Mike White. But you can't
it's crazy
be
to say it. Here we are.
Can't be wrong. You can't be wrong for going Goff as well.
No, it's a nice fall. If for Mike White, like if he has a bad game, if he chose Goff, you probably can't go wrong. It should be comparable, but I just feel like you're looking for 303 touchdowns, and that's what he gave you last week. I think he can give you the same thing against that Minnesota offense, like you said, Chef, or defense. But they have to keep up with the Minnesota offense. They're gonna at some point. Even their defense is really good, the Jets, and they're gonna slow down Minnesota maybe a little. But I feel like it's gonna be one of those games where at the end of the half and at the end of the game, they're gonna be trying to hurry up and score points, and I like Mike White in that situation.
Same. All right, let's get into Mondo. And Mondo, shout out Mondo. He is part of the NFT crew. And he says, "Yes, sir. Make or break time." I was filibustering while you were getting hooked up here, and I was talking about it's playoff time, baby. And Mondo here is 6-6 in a 14-team PPR league, playing another 6-6 team. So he's got a decision to make, and his decision is he can't decide between Rodgers or Dak and Sutton or Burks. And these are two question mark teams here. I mean, do we trust Aaron Rodgers yet? Have we trusted him at all this season? He's got a great matchup against Chicago.
Yeah, but the weather there is looking suspect. It's looking a little cold and windy. So like heavy winds, like 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. So that scares me off of Rodgers. I watched him last Sunday night, Chef, in person. I was lucky enough to be at Lincoln Financial watching that game, and he didn't look good throwing the ball. No. And then eventually he was taken out of that game, and they brought in Jordan Love, and his thumb doesn't look great. Dak's been on fire. He's been throwing lasers all over the field. That offense looks like it's starting to click. Like we said about Pollard earlier, with one play and he's gone, and you can get any kind of little screen pass can turn into a long touchdown for you. I think I safely start Dak over Rodgers.
Dak up against Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put my notch on that as well. I don't know if you get the ceiling play from Dak, but I'm you definitely get a safer floor. Um,
Yeah. Rodgers
but
has struggled, man.
Rodgers really hasn't hit his ceiling much at all this
No,
year.
no.
So I mean,
I think he
with
has one 300-yard game all year. Is it one? I think it's either one or none. It's not
it's
great. I know that.
0, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. One or none. Yep.
Believe it
0.
or not, his highest was against Detroit, one of the worst defenses in the league. He had 291 and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's rough
So,
sledding, man.
yeah, I mean,
So
I
Dak.
think he does do it against the divisional matchup. I think Green Bay will probably maybe win this game. Who knows? But I'm gonna roll with Dak with you on that one. And then Sutton or Burks, I'm staying away from Denver. Give me
Yep.
Burks. I'm not concerned about the missing practice this week. He was ill, like with a sickness. He was down with the sickness. Oh wow. Um, but uh but yeah, give me Treylon Burks to make something out of it. I think he can continue to move the ball, fill his role as the lead wide receiver there in that offense, because we know Robert Woods is pretty much done. Even going up against a James Bradbury type player in Philly, I'm not convinced that Courtland Sutton is anything special anymore, and
No.
I'm staying away from him.
I'm staying away from the Denver offense in general. And Sutton was on the injury report. There were chances that they were saying he may not play. So we were talking about Hinton getting a move up. Jerry Jeudy might be coming back this week. Maybe Dolchich gets some action. But either way, that whole offense is not great. And then they're going up against the Ravens, who have a really good defense, and they're emerging. And they are going to get Humphrey to play. So they're going to have their full complement of secondary players there. I think I would stay away from Sutton if I were you as well. So I agree with you, Chef, and I'll go Burks for Mondo.
There you have
Make
it,
the playoff
Mondo.
run, baby. Let's go.
Dak and Burks.
Dak and Burks.
Giuseppe says, "Good morning, Chef. Ayuk, Sutton, or Zay Jones?" Now, we just talked about Sutton, how we feel about Sutton. So, real fast,
Yeah.
can we eliminate Sutton out of this matchup?
Yep.
Okay.
Take him away.
So that's first and foremost. And then we have a questionable tag, maybe a doubtful tag for Debo Samuel.
Debo, yeah.
And we know Ayuk has been pretty good as of late. And has a good matchup here against Miami defense, who has been struggling against wide receivers, and that Jimmy G and Ayuk connection is real.
Yeah, he's finding a way into the end zone too, more importantly, Chef. They love him in that red zone. They love him down there near the goal line. He's multiple. They can use him in a lot of the same ways that they use Debo. They find ways to get him the ball. So this is an interesting tilt for me. Giuseppe Russo came in with a hot one here, because Ayuk versus Zay Jones would be a really tough decision for me to make when I'm putting in a lineup, because both matchups are good. Both guys have ample opportunity. And this is more of a gut call than anything, but I might go Ayuk because of the touchdowns. I don't know. This would be a game time decision.
I mean, you may have more production as far as PPR goes with Zay Jones.
Yep.
But if Ayuk decides to get into the end zone twice, like he has of late, then that changes everything. But touchdowns are not sticky stats.
So
and we can't go off of that. I think the safer play with a higher floor could be Zay Jones up against Detroit. Yeah. I would love to roll with you on Ayuk on this one. Giuseppe, if you flip a coin, I think you're okay. I just think it's a little bit more, if Debo does not play, it's a little bit more target share for Ayuk and Kittle, along with Juwan Jennings that has resurfaced. But yeah, it's definitely not Sutton. And I'm really happy with Zay Jones, but whether or not I play him over Ayuk is a tough move.
How about we put it this way? Let me try to articulate it. Team construction dependent. If you need 10 points, Zay Jones. If you think you're going to be trailing or you're playing against a juggernaut and you need someone to give you 20, 25, probably Ayuk is the way you're going to get to those touchdowns. I think that's how I would probably break it down in my brain. Like, do I really need 25 points, 30 points out of somebody? Then maybe I go Ayuk. Otherwise, I go with Zay Jones and make sure I get my 15 points or so.
I mean, after the game that Zay Jones had last week, 14 targets, 11 for 145 against Baltimore, I'm going Zay Jones. I think he's got a healthy floor of at least 10 points, just like
Oh
you
yeah,
mentioned.
he, yeah.
But I think his ceiling we saw last week up against Baltimore, and I told you about the connection that he's starting to have with Trevor Lawrence. I think it could turn into something here against the Cats of the North in Detroit. Oh man, I really don't want to say Zay Jones over Ayuk, man, because this is
Yes,
a
you do.
tough
Yes,
one.
you do. Yes, you do. Listen, you want a piece of that matchup. You want a part of that game. That should be an offensive explosion. Like I said, it's going to be raining. Sometimes Ayuk disappears and he has 3 catches, 4 catches. Like he doesn't have much action. It could be a big McCaffrey day. It could be a big Kittle day. So there's reasons to go Zay Jones. Like what you said about last week, he didn't even find the end zone and he got you 30 fantasy points, right?
20,
Or
yes.
25 fantasy. Yeah. So let's, go with Zay Jones.
I'm going Zay Jones.
Let's do it. I'll go with you.
Wow.
It's close though. That was a really great tilt.
Giuseppe, Mike White, or Kenny Pickett. I'm going Mike White.
Mike White. I do like what I've been seeing from Kenny Pickett running the ball a little bit though. I will.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's on
leave
the
a
up
little
and up, but
caveat
not
there.
enough. Not enough to put in your starting
Not
lineup
yet.
if you don't need to.
No.
And then he wants to know Kamara or Rashad White. Ooh,
What a world we live in. Week 13. Holy jeez. Come on, man. We're really choosing between Kamara and Rashad White, Chef. Kamara killed people last week. Those fumbles killed people last week. Kamara.
Can we trust him up against the 4th-ranked running defense in Tampa?
They are dead last in offensive production the Saints are the last 4 weeks. Their offense is sputtering out of control. I don't like it at all.
And then the questionable tag with Leonard Fournette.
If we knew Lenny was out, would this be a no-brainer? Like you would?
Yeah, if Lenny was out, it would be a no-brainer. Rashad White, to be honest. But I just don't know.
You always expect Kamara to come back. Like you always expect him to have a good game. And then the game that you sit him, for sure, the minute you put in Rashad White, in your mind, you start thinking, oh, he's going to score 4 touchdowns today. I know Kamara's going to score 4 touchdowns on my bench, and he's going to kill you. That fear starts to seep in. Like when you sit a stud of that caliber, somebody you drafted in the late 1st round, early 2nd round at the best, at worst, like do you bench him? It's week 13, so we have enough of a sample size to make the call. It's just a really, really tough call.
With the offensive production that you had mentioned, and I love that, I'm going to go Rashad White.
Yeah, right. The offense
even if
feels
Lenny
like it's going
plays,
in the wrong direction.
We may see Lenny on a limited snap count. He is coming back off of injury, and Rashad White catches passes just as well as Alvin Kamara does. So I think Rashad White is your play here, Giuseppe.
It's a tough call, Giuseppe. It's going to take a lot for you to pull the trigger, but you got to bench him. You got to go with Rashad White.
And then one last one for Giuseppe. He says, if Deebo doesn't play, should I start Juwan Jennings or Van Jefferson?
Oof.
So once again, I am staying away from that Rams offense, and I would play Juwan Jennings in that sense.
Yeah, Stafford's out. Like out. He's on IR, so he's gone. So you're talking about Wolford playing now with Perkins backing him up. That's not ideal. I don't want any part of that. And I'm going to go with Jennings if I had to start one of the two.
Right. Good call.
And Deebo probably won't play.
Yeah. Dame Roche has a big one for us here. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Good morning, gents. I can't read the next 3 words. It's like F-E-F.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I was chanting it loud at the top of my lungs on Sunday night. I was. The fans got me. The spirit of Mr. Swanson was with me at Lincoln Financial, and I was screaming, fly, Eagles, fly.
You were cheering with them?
I was cheering with them, Chef. The whole stadium got me, man. I was an Eagles fan for a day.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Dame needs 1 running back, an RB1 and 2, and a flex. He has RB1. He has Mixon. RB2 is James Conner, but Conner has a bye this week. We know this. And Mixon, he can't play due to the protocol. Who do I start? If Mixon plays, then I just need 1 running back, 2, and a flex. All I have left is Swift. He says all he has left. Listen to this. Swift,
Oh.
Rashad White, Zonovan Knight, Pittman, and Jalen Warren. And he just traded for Pacheco, but can't start him till next week. And it's a non-PPR league. So we're looking for work here. We're looking for yardage. And that does...
Mixon's going to play. I think.
Really?
He should. I think Mixon clears the protocol. He's been out long enough. This is traditionally when guys come back. It's a league average of 9 days from concussion to being able to get back on the field and be able to play.
I mean, latest report out from RotoWire 2 hours ago is he is still listed as questionable, and he's a long shot to play.
Really?
That's from Ian Rappaport. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a 4:25 kickoff.
Yeah, that's
so you
the other
have to make your decision now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do have the pivot of Rashad White on Monday night. If you leave that in there and then you find out at 2:30 that he's not playing, then you can still pivot to Rashad White on Monday night.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. Because you're going to have to pick Rashad White out of that group of players probably, right?
Right. And James Conner, I believe Arizona's on a bye this week, correct?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So he definitely needs at least one player.
Well, he needs 2 more. He needs Mixon and 2 more, or he needs 3.
All right. So I want to play Zonovan Knight.
Me too.
And then I would say go ahead and play Rashad White. And then I'm not trusting that Jalen Warren comes in and takes the full bulk of the workload.
He's still banged up too.
With Najee Harris. Yeah, Najee Harris cleared to play today. Yeah, so I would play Pittman as a flex. Hopefully he catches a touchdown for you against Dallas. It's going to be an icky one. But I'm not trusting DeAndre Swift. Not just yet.
I mean, the usage is 50-50. It's kind of 50. He's been getting the carries too. It's just you can't trust it. You're right. I mean, that is a shootout, though. There's potential for him to get some catches. I don't hate Swift, but I'll go with you. Zonovan Knight off the bat, he's number 1. Rashad White 2. Hopefully Mixon plays, and that's your 3. If Mixon doesn't play, and you have to play, the problem is, Chef, if you're going to play Pittman, you got to play him early. You got to decide to do it.
Mm-hmm.
While I'd leave Rashad White in the flexes. Oh, no, you can't.
Nope.
You have to flex Pittman.
Yep.
Wow. Let's go White, Knight, and Pittman. I'll go with you.
White, Knight, Pittman. That's how it's going to go. At least from standing on this way.
Yeah. Tough tilt, though, man.
James Mendez says, just pick one. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I jumped the gun there. My bad. Let's see. There we go. Kicks for Mike. Flex, P. Ryan, Zay Jones, Pittman.
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones. We're on Team Zay Jones today.
Yeah.
Big Greens. What's coming on?
Big Greens.
I got something
green.
Something.
There it is. Attaboy.
I got the bang. Hashtag not sponsor, but I love these things.
Not yet. Not yet.
And he wants to know Josh Palmer or Van Jefferson full PPR. I think it's going to be a Josh Palmer game.
Yeah, I almost put him in my dailies in all my DFS lineups. I just like that matchup against the Raiders. I feel like that's going to be a bit of a shootout. All these games have shootout potential. I just hope a couple of them deliver.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters if it is half point PPR, big greens. I think all in all you'll be okay with Josh Palmer. And like I said, we mentioned it 100 times already, and we're only a half hour into the show. I'm not trusting the Rams offense if I don't have to.
Fade in the Rams if you can, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Giuseppe coming in. Brian Robinson, DPJ, Gus, or Zay Jones.
Wow, this is a good one.
I guess we only get to pick one.
Man, that's tough. That's a good team if you can only pick one of those.
Well, then I'm going to take out Gus.
Yep.
And
Denver's defense is pretty good.
I think for the first week, Gibson is expected to play, but I think Brian Robinson gets the bulk of the carries. I guess it would decide whether or not, I mean, if it was PPR, I guess it would help, but I'm teetering between Brian Robinson and Zay Jones here. I do like the idea of DPJ, but not in the first game up against Houston. I don't know what's going to happen with Watson, and I'd feel better with DPJ on my bench, just because we've seen the production come out of Trevor Lawrence and Zay Jones so far, and then obviously with Brian Robinson going up against a middling defense for running backs with the Giants. Man, that hurts to say that. We were so good at the beginning of the season.
Injuries happen, things change. Chef, I like your idea. DPJ is a stash for me.
Yeah.
Gus, I don't trust the workage, and the defensive matchup is tough, so I'm going to eliminate those two. Between Brian Robinson against your Giants defense, though, I think I still want to go with Zay Jones, Chef, and I want to go to that matchup. I'm going to keep going back to the well. It's tough because Brian Robinson's got a nose for the end zone now. That offense moves a little bit, but I feel like you guys are going to play one of those slugfest, slow games, 8-minute drives, even if it's, to go 30 yards to the 50 and then punt and pin people deep. Like, I feel like an ugly NFC East matchup.
Low scoring game. Yeah.
Yeah. Low scoring NFC East battle. Like, you know what I mean? And you guys play each other in 2 more weeks. So it's not like, you know what I mean? You're going to feel each other out. This is going to be cagey. Like those boxing matches where all they do is throw jabs at each other the whole, the first round or two. I feel
like Rock'em Sock'em Robot. It's like this.
Yeah. That's what they're going to do. I'm not going to show you anything. I'm going to try to steal this win 3-0 if I can. So yeah, I think Zay Jones is the play for me here. The upside play is Zay Jones for sure.
I'm with you.
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if you put in Brian Robinson, but I'd rather go with Zay Jones.
Yeah, man. And then Dame Roche wants to know PPR league flex spot: Gus Edwards, Zay Jones, or Najee?
Zay Jones again.
Zay Jones. Man, we're on team Zay Jones today. Let's go.
It's
I hope he has a
unbelievable.
huge game.
Me too. Every tilter though has Zay Jones on their mind, and they all have him in there. It's no coincidence that they all go to the playoffs. These guys, and they all lift trophies. You know what I mean? They got the right idea.
I mean, it's a tilt squad. It's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, bro.
Let's see here. What else we got? He said, Big Greens, I'm leaning Palmer. Mike Will out, and I don't trust the Rams QB. Yep, neither do we,
My man, Mondo. You hit it right on the head, Mondo.
And then Giuseppe wants to know, Najee, Thielen, Fournette, Garrett Wilson, or Patterson? PPR, pick one. Give me Wilson all the way. Yes.
Yep, Garrett Wilson. All day.
Man, I stole him in our Dynasty League record, man.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You got yourself a good one.
Good one. And I believe, now, see, this is where you play to win long term. I traded DeAndre Hopkins and a third for the first round pick, and the pick turned out to be what, the 108? Garrett Wilson fell to the 108. So,
yeah, you take that. Hopefully, 9 or 10 more years of production.
Oh God, yeah, and I was so happy to get away from DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, great fantasy asset to have, but it was the perfect time to pivot. This wide receiver class was off the chains, as they say, as the kids say. Do they still say that? I don't know.
Some of them might.
I mean, a lot of them are saying drip now. Drip, 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 drip.
Yeah.
So Garrett Wilson's got that drip. All right. Yeah. And I'm playing him today no matter what. Giuseppe Russo wants to know Jeff Wilson, Najee, Patterson, or Fournette. So we're having repeats here, Juan, of
a little bit, yeah.
Jeff Wilson, Najee, Patterson, Fournette. I'm going Najee out of these guys.
Yeah, this one you have to go Najee, Chef.
Yep.
Against Atlanta, favorable matchup. Let's see that should work out. I would go Najee.
And then James Mendez wants to know, what's up, fellas? Been trying to find a wide receiver 2 this week. His options are Cobb, Elijah Moore, Nico Collins, DJ Chark, Van Jefferson, or Corey Davis. Just pick one.
That was that just pick one situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can we pick a jet, Chef, and I'll let you pick it? I feel like that offense for today. I don't trust Rodgers and Cobb. That's rare that they actually connect. Nico Collins might not be a bad play with Cooks out, but he might be like the only target they have, and they're going to be run heavy. I don't love DJ Shark, even though I do love that matchup, the game itself with the Lions and Jags.
DJ
And
does
I don't
not
want
have a
anything to
good
do with-
matchup.
No, I love the game itself, not the
Right
matchup,
on. Yeah. Mhm.
but the game.
We could take Van Jefferson out of it.
Out, yeah, take him out. Yeah, take him and Cobb out.
And
I
then
would
I want to
say.
look at, I'm looking in between. So Elijah Moore and Corey Davis both have a tough matchup against Shandon Sullivan and Patrick Peterson.
They do play a lot of zone, though. I know those are the corners that are going to be on that side, but I don't think anybody plays more zone than Minnesota in the NFL. And if you're going to attack them, that is where you attack them, is in that secondary. So there's a chance for big plays out of either one of those two guys, Corey Davis or Elijah Moore. But if you
The
told
whole
me you
thing
were
is
going to go
Garrett
Nico
Wilson
Collins,
plays
I would
all
be
over
mad.
the field. Like,
Yeah, they put
that's-
him everywhere.
Man, I don't know. I mean, Nico Collins might be my pick here. It doesn't feel
got the-
great.
It doesn't feel good at all. This is a really tough tilt, James Mendez, but he is like the most opportunity here is probably Nico Collins, like the guy that is somebody going to get 10 targets out of this group. It could be him.
I don't know if he gets
You
10
know?
targets, maybe 8. Maybe he winds up
8,
6
yeah.
for 40 and maybe gets in the end zone. That would
I'm
give you
just
about
hoping
16 points.
Listen, maybe they get a lead. The Browns get a lead, and then they have to play from behind, and they air it out a little bit later. Even though they tend not to do that, they scare me. The Houston Texans are dismal. They may not win a game all year. After that, they're going to be 1-15-1. It's an awful football team. Them and the
15 and
Rams.
1.
Yeah, they won a game. They're 1-9-1 right now. So all they're going to do is lose the next 6.
I'm not trusting Corey Davis. I'm not chasing the points from Elijah Moore.
So then
DJ
we have
Shark.
to go Nico Collins.
It's DJ Shark or Nico Collins, and I think I'm going to go Collins. Man,
Yeah.
that's a tough one. Good luck,
Rough.
James.
Rough.
Good luck.
Yeah, I almost told you to hit the button on that one, Chef.
Yeah.
But it's so ugly that I don't want to waste it on an ugly one.
Right. It's so tough. Tough tilts for week 13. All right,
Yeah.
Giuseppe Russo coming back. Everett or Freiermuth? Tight end question here coming in from Giuseppe Russo.
Like them both. Like the matchup for both guys. I guess give me Freiermuth because he seems to be Pickett's safety valve, and he's just a target monster. Is Everett fully healthy? He's back. I know he came back. So
Yeah, he's healthy, and Vegas is 27th against the tight end position.
they're terrible.
So
yeah.
it's a great matchup, but I think Freiermuth, it's the target share that gets me. Like Freiermuth has just been blowing it up. Let's see. I mean, not too many targets last week versus Indy, but prior to that, he hadn't had less than 7 targets. I think you're just hoping for him to have a bigger day, and I think he does against Atlanta. So give me Freiermuth.
Yeah, agreed.
Consistent target share. That's what you have to do. I mean, each and every week, one of these guys could be inside the top 5 for tight ends, and we just, you have to pick your battles.
All they got to do is catch a touchdown, man. Tight ends.
I'd rather lose with Freiermuth in my lineup than
Yep.
win with Everett in my lineup. If that makes sense.
Like that. It does.
I just don't want Freiermuth to go off on my bench when I had that choice,
Yeah.
Dame wants to know, do you think it's time to bench Alvin Kamara? I have him, and I just don't know what to do. I have Pacheco and Najee on the bench, as well as Tony Pollard. I don't know who to start. Yeah, it's a tough situation. And, back in the draft days of August, we were all about Alvin Kamara. We were all about Najee Harris.
He's automatic.
Yeah.
They were both automatic. I thought Najee had a chance to be the one this year. Like, usage, the way he was getting used last year and the way he was getting the ball thrown to him. He had games last year with double-digit catches on multiple occasions. And that's what you want nowadays out of your running back. That's who's in the top 5, top 10 is guys that can catch the ball as well as run it. And Najee was high on that list with Alvin Kamara, and it's been disappointing. We're in week 13, and we're talking about a kid from Vineland, Isaiah Pacheco, as a potential, shout out Vineland, as a potential guy that you would start in week 13 over Alvin Kamara and Najee Harris. It's crazy. And Tony Pollard's supposed to be a backup, and I think I like him the best out of this whole group.
Agreed.
Right? Like,
I think it's time you could bench Alvin Kamara. I think it is.
Especially if you have these kind of options. Like, I'm not saying bench him for Cordero Patterson or bench him for, Caleb Huntley. But, bench him for Tony Pollard.
Yeah,
try to
and
win
this
your
is
league,
most
man.
likely a flex consideration.
It has to be, yeah. At this
Hopefully.
point, that team's stacked. That team's got to be stacked if those are all the players he's benching. All these guys are getting benched right now, Chef. He's benching 3 of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Najee over Kamara today. Pacheco, I don't know if the matchup warrants that. But Pollard definitely over Kamara. So right there and then, Dame, you have 2 guys that you could put over Alvin Kamara for today.
Yep.
And John Cutter, shout out John Cutter, welcome in from Facebook. He wants to know Watson or Tua, must-win game. Who should I start? The other team has Amari Cooper. Could neutralize some points. He has Chubb. So you're definitely playing Chubb. Nick Chubb is going to have a great game. I'm not sure if I want to start Watson.
I'm not sure either, Chef. Like you said, they might run for 1,000 yards today against Houston.
But Tua has the matchup against San Francisco, which scares the bejesus out of me, and I'm starting Mike White over Tua. So
are you really?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I didn't want to put myself in that position where I'm not getting the most out of my quarterback. So although you say shoot out this, shoot out that, I think it's more of a low-scoring game, and I think San Francisco's defense holds true to that Miami offense, and we see a lower than expectation. I would rather take the option of Mike White scoring a lot of points up against Minnesota in a better matchup than Tua getting somewhat of a floor of 17 points, But we're not talking about Mike White in this one. We're talking about Watson. So what can we expect? And you're the big Deshaun Watson fan, so talk to me.
Yeah, I'm a Watson fan as far as the football player. But yeah, I know what you mean. I have a heavy investment in him in dynasty leagues around. I stuck with him. I didn't trade him away for pennies on a dollar when everybody else was trying to get him. First game back, revenge game against Houston, but they run the ball a ton. Tua scares me because of the rain, Chef. I think I'm going to go with Watson and think that, maybe revenge game against Houston narrative, he, gets big plays. And what he's saying about Amari Cooper, hope the touchdowns are to DPJ. Hope it's to Harrison Bryant, who's a sneaky DFS pick. If anybody wants to pick up a tight end out there, he might be the one. Yes, Tua scares me because of the rain. And like you said, ball control. The Niners, I feel like, are going to run the ball 40, 50 times on us. And we're probably going to try to do the same thing with both running backs being healthy. Yeah, I think slight edge to Watson. I'm actually starting Watson over Tua in our Dynasty League of Record today. And I had to make that decision, and I'm starting Watson.
There you go. Hope that helps, John Cutter. Hit that like and subscribe button, bud. Appreciate you hopping in with us. All right. Where are we at here? Jim Rambo, the coolest name in fantasy football.
My man,
he says, "Good morning, guys. He needs help with 2 this week." He says, full point PPR. He has Darius Slayton, Randall Cobb, and Hayden Hurst or Conklin. By the way, I'll never bench Thielen again. Thanks. I mean,
sometimes you got to bench Thielen.
Sometimes you got to bench Thielen. I didn't really look at the Giants matchup too much as far as receivers go, but Darius Slayton has a decent matchup against Christian Holmes for Washington Commandos.
Mandos.
And Randall Cobb, just like he never goes away. Like he really never goes away. Going up against
really here.
Jalen Johnson for Chicago. And I mean, to be honest, Chicago's 14th against the fantasy wide receiver in the slot. I can see them giving up some points to Randall Cobb.
I don't know though, Chef. A couple things. I don't know if we have Martucci on this week, right? We don't.
No, we don't. Unfortunately, he's on vacation actually, so he gets a pass.
Shout out! I hope he found fair weather wherever he went on vacation. So, but there's no good weather there. Chicago's going to have all that wind, and there is a chance that Romeo Dobbs plays, so a lot of mouths to feed. Christian Watson becoming a bigger part of the offense. Lazard, you still expect to get his. They like to throw the ball to Aaron Jones. I don't love Randall Cobb. I think if Darius Slayton's healthy for me, I love him. I think it's your only option. He did have the illness, but so did, Kenny Golladay had the illness.
Yeah,
right?
everybody's down with the sickness.
Right, and then Richie James is out.
Yeah.
So
I think Slayton is the only pass catching option in that offense right now. So you kind of have to go that way. I agree with you there. And then the tight end situation, Hayden Hurst or Conklin, Conklin's a nice matchup.
It's a nice little matchup. That's a tough place to be tilting. Those two guys are really close. I went Conklin. I have them both in my family league of record, and I went Conklin over Hurst. Simply because of that matchup, because I just want a piece of the Minnesota defense.
Yeah, with Jamar Chase supposedly getting his start
coming
back today, I think we could see a tilt back on Hayden Hurst's production. So, yeah, give me Tyler Conklin.
I like that.
Justin, what's going on?
My man, Justin.
Hey, and he wants to know, Fields or Lamar? So we got a quarterback matchup here. Fields or Lamar Jackson. I have to say it's going to be Justin Fields, man. If he's on the field.
Chef, I stopped counting at like 3:13, but I think the Eagles ran for 353 yards against the Packers. Something along those lines. At one point in the first quarter, one of the fans was behind us heckling. A Packers fan was actually heckling my buddy who's an Eagles fan. He's like, y'all don't even have a quarterback. You don't even have a quarterback. And he goes, my quarterback's got 140 yards rushing. What game are you watching? And it's true. Jalen Hurts was running for 140-something yards. And I feel, that's what Fields' game is. As injured as he is, he'll run out of bounds. He'll be smart. But I feel like that's the way they're going to get their yardage. Is going to be a lot of David Montgomery and a lot of Justin Fields today. And you got to love him. Every time he's in there, he's scoring touchdowns. At one point, he had 9 touchdowns in 9 quarters. Like he was just out of his mind scoring touchdowns before he got injured. So, yeah, let's go Justin Fields on that one. Your namesake, man.
Yeah.
Got to go with that one.
Not to mention that Lamar is going up against Denver's defense, and the Baltimore offense has been not so good as of late.
They just activated Deshaun Jackson.
Again?
Yep, they're going to bring him out again.
All right. So Justin also wants to know, Burks, Rachaad White, Judy, Sutton, Juju need one. And I'm going to roll with Juju here, I believe.
Yeah, let's go with Juju. In that game against Cincinnati, that's where he's going to eat, is in that slot probably.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where you want to attack that team. So let's go.
Yeah, I'm staying away from Judy. I'm staying away from Sutton. Rachaad White is a nice, decent backup play, but I like the upside of Juju here. And then he wants to know Zonovan Knight, bam, or Mostert.
I think by the chef's reaction right there, you can say it. It was bam.
Bam. Zonovan Knight. Give me Zonovan Knight. Mostert playing up against that San Francisco defense, going to be splitting carries with Jeff Wilson. Knight's going to get a full workload. Even though, we talked about who's Ty Johnson. Yeah, okay, Ty Johnson.
He'll get 5-10 carries, Ty Johnson. He'll spell him. He may get a drive at the end of the second quarter or
something. As long as he doesn't steal those goal line carries, I don't care. And Justin wants to know, do we like Aaron Rodgers over 228.5 yards up against Chicago today? You mentioned the wind. I don't like
either. Yeah, that's about where he's been. That's why DraftKings makes all that money, because they put it at something. You're like, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to throw over that, but he really doesn't. He hasn't been of late. I mean, if we look at his, the only time that he's thrown over, he hasn't thrown over 228 yards. He hasn't thrown over 227 yards in 4 weeks, and he's only done it. Yeah, 5-6 times. Yeah, 4 or 5 times. Yeah, so no, I don't like that, Justin. Stay away from that. Or take the under. Ooh, make some money taking the under. Minnie Jordan, what's going on? He says, good morning, Minnie fellas. Choose a quarterback. Brady, Watson, or Fields? Ooh, this is tough. Not for me. I'm going to take Justin Fields and call it a day.
Oh,
Hey,
very,
it's
very
recent,
good.
Chef. It might be recency bias, but I'm telling you, when I was watching that game, Boston Scott 7-yard gain, Kenneth Gainwell 7-yard gain, Jalen Hurts 40-yard gain, Miles Sanders 15 yards, 10 yards, 7 yards. They were just moving the sticks on them on the ground, and I feel like the RPO game is going to kill them with Montgomery and Justin Fields today.
I think you have a good, reliable asset in Fields on your fantasy teams that you don't have to roll the dice with Watson in game one versus a tougher
Yup.
defense.
Expect a little rust.
Brady, we don't know. Marshawn Lattimore might be playing in this one. That could shut down things a little bit.
Did you know he had a lacerated kidney or a lacerated sleeve?
Yeah.
Right, dude. That's why he's been out for 7 weeks because of that. And coming back from that, I don't know if even if he comes back, I don't know how effective he is. And I benched Mike Evans, Chef, in one of our leagues, and I started Juju over him because historically Lattimore shuts him down. Like, he makes him completely go away. He averages less than 40 yards receiving every time he goes up against them. So it scares me a little off of Brady if Lattimore is playing and healthy, but I don't know if he is. So it makes it a question for me between Brady and Fields here, because Brady's been getting the yards. He just hasn't been finding the end zone. But Brady on prime time likes to make statements, and he likes to run up the score if he can. And if you picked Brady, I wouldn't be mad at you, but I think Fields slightly over the other two.
Yeah, give me Fields with the rushing upside.
Yep.
All right, so just moving through the chat here. Bucks running back is Rashad White. We know this. We know this.
He was probably helping us with the White question earlier.
Yeah, I believe so. And JC Molieri, welcome back. He says, "What's up, fellas? Flex 1 PPR. DeAndre Swift or Josh Palmer?" Ooh.
Chef's gonna pick Palmer.
Oh, yeah? You sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Palmer.
You try to put a little suspense into it, Chef, but I know.
Oh, I mean, I had to try at least.
Yeah.
Where are you on the same
Jamal
page?
Williams yeah, I'm with you. As long as Jamal Williams is there stealing touchdowns, man, Swift is gonna have to wait.
It just stinks, man. We've been waiting on Swift the whole time, and Jamal Williams just doesn't want to go away.
He will not go away. Shout out to him, though. He's like leading the league in rushing touchdowns,
Yeah. And going back to Dame, lastly, Tua or Hurts? I mean, if you want a heater.
Tough. You don't get off the table.
Yeah. Give me Jalen
Tough
Hurts.
matchup. I'll take him. Tough matchup, though. This is one of those, like, let's see what you do against this Vrabel defense. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, I mean, but the guy is averaging 54 rushing yards a game. He runs, 11 attempts rushing. He doesn't do all the passing work, but I think in this one up against Tennessee, 27th ranked, up against the fantasy QB, allowing 21 points a game, I think you're safe with Jalen Hurts, so you don't have to worry about that Tua matchup in the rain against San Francisco.
Yeah, and maybe no Teron Armstead. And I've been talking about it for weeks, the correlation between a team losing their left tackle and immediately the quarterback play falls all the way off the face of the earth. You've seen it with Bakhtiari. You're going to see it with Brady losing Wirfs. You saw it with Rashawn Slater went out for the Chargers. You saw it when Darisaw went out for the Vikings. Teams that lose their left tackle immediately start to struggle. The quarterback play goes right down the drain. I think Hurts in a must-win game, revenge game for A.J. Brown. I think a big A.J. Brown game might be in store for this one. And like you said, if you're going to beat Tennessee, that's where they're susceptible, is against the pass. So let's go with Hurts.
All right, sounds good. I am just double checking to see. Nothing so far. All right. Still about a half hour away from 25 minutes away from the injury designations. Just getting to see there a little insight there, but nothing quite yet. James Mendez wants to know, in another separate league, I need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. Options are Juju, Pickens, Zonovan, and Patterson.
Juju and Zonovan.
Really? You like Juju over Pickens?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's just that game, again, I'm going with potential shootout. I'm going with the usage. I'm going with the, what offense is going to put up 350 where my guy's going to get 70, 80, 100 yards of that. And I don't think it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers in that offense. So I'm going to go with Juju as the wide receiver. And then Zonovan Knight, man, because the usage is going to be there, I feel like, against Minnesota. He's got the opportunity. And with just 14 carries last week, he put up some yards, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think I'm going to ride the rookie sensation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you go with the 2 receivers?
I think I would go with the 2 receivers. If you're going with either or you go Zonovan for a floor in your flex. I mean, if you're shooting for the floor, then it's Zonovan. If you're shooting for the ceiling, it's going to be Pickens. All right, because he does have the opportunity to get in the end zone, get those big plays, big playability, especially on the outside and the corners. I think he can do something for you, especially against Atlanta. Oh man, it's tough, but I think I might roll with the 2 wide receivers in this one.
Yeah, I'll go a little different. I'm going to stay with Zonovan Knight.
Fair enough.
Pickens out. It's close, though. Between those 3, it's very close.
And then Trey S. wants to know, morning, gents, full PPR, start 2. He has ETN, Jeff Wilson, Rashad White, Lenny, or Devontae Smith. So Lombardi Lenny, we don't know how involved he's going to be. And this cancels out the Rashad White thing a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. It does, Jeff.
I don't know what's going on over there at Juan's house, but man.
Trying to pull the water out of the fridge.
You moving furniture around over there, bud?
That was just a plastic bottle coming out of the fridge.
Oh my.
Yeah, Etienne for sure, Chef, on this one.
Yeah.
And it's murky because you have those 2 options on that same team, and they're kind of dependent on one another for you to have your success or not. And we said you're fading Jeff Wilson all day long. So Devontae Smith probably in a good matchup against a vulnerable secondary, if that's what we're going to call it.
Yeah, I mean, clear to play. He's had at least 8 targets in the last 3 games. He's caught in at least 4 to 6 balls in each of the last 3. I think he's a safe play. He's safe for maybe 9 to 13 fantasy points, depending how your scoring is in full PPR. He could get in the end zone. They could try to cover A.J. Brown a little bit. This is a revenge game for A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to roll with you.
We'll go Etienne, Devontae.
Yeah. I just want to look at this Tampa matchup one more time. Monday Night Football. Oh, man, it's so tough. Yeah, I mean, we're waiting for Monday night to see if Leonard Fournette plays. Like, that's a tough decision. Obviously, if Leonard Fournette does not play, then Rashad White's going to get all the work. Then I like Rashad White a little bit more than Devontae Smith.
But we won't know that.
We won't know that until probably tomorrow at some point.
Yep.
With that being said, I'm going to roll with Devontae Smith. If you can afford to wait, Trey S., I would wait it out because I think Rashad White's ceiling is a little bit higher than Devontae Smith's.
Yeah, it's probably not the case where you have a pivot in that game. Like maybe you had Olave, but you would have listed Olave as one of the options. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he would definitely be starting. So, there's nobody else that I trust in that matchup as far as from the Saints. I don't really want any other offensive pieces outside of Olave. And there's nobody else that you can pivot to in Tampa on Monday night. So you're going to have to go with Etienne and Devontae Smith and hope for the best.
Right. All right. And James Mendez also wants to know, between Geno Smith and Deshaun Watson, who would you play? I can't find myself to bench Geno after he's played so well this season. And so don't. I mean, that's the easiest. That's the easiest matchup there. I mean, yeah, the Rams are 11th against the fantasy quarterbacks, but Geno Smith, he's getting work on the ground. He runs the ball. He's averaging 250 passing yards a game, and all his receivers are healthy. I don't see why he can't put up 20 points. I think Deshaun Watson, yes, it's a revenge game. We've gone over this already, but I think it's a tougher matchup than everybody thinks. And we know the Kevin O'Connell offense doesn't like to pass the ball as much.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that run first
or Stefanski. Sorry, I said Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, it's Kevin Stefanski, and why wouldn't they just run Nick Chubb? So, or Deshaun Watson, which makes the choice a little bit harder. You know, what kind of Deshaun Watson are we going to see in the first game of the season? Like, I don't want to guess, so I'm going to go with Geno Smith until I see otherwise. Like, Geno Smith he's been a top 10 quarterback week in, week out.
Yeah, the Houston's the type of team. Last week they sold out completely to stop the run against the Dolphins, and they were pretty successful in slowing down, Jeff Wilson. But then that made him susceptible to the pass. I feel like in this game, Chubb's not Jeff Wilson. Like, Chubb's a different animal. That offensive line is different. And when they decide they want to run downhill and give him 20 carries and run the ball and control the clock, they will. They're going to try to ease Deshaun Watson back into the things. I think he might be a little rusty early on. You just got to keep riding the hot hand with Geno. He's been doing well for you. He's getting 200, like you said, 250 every game. And the chance at a touchdown with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf is always there. So I feel like that's something that you might want to stick with and just ride it out one more week. And I go Geno.
Right on. And Laura and Jim Cooperman, welcome in. Appreciate you guys.
Welcome
Hit
in,
that like
fam.
and subscribe button. They said in a PPR, need to start 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and 1 flex. They have DeAndre Carter, Alan Lazard, Pittman, Devontae Smith, DJ Shark, Hasty Pacheco, and Rashad White. And thanks. I love that when they put thanks in there.
Yeah,
all right, so
that.
1 running back. So we need 1 running back, and it's going to be Rashad White over Pacheco in my
yes, sir.
guess here. Yep.
I agree.
All right, so there's your running back, and then we have 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. I'm going to play Lazard. I'm just going to do it, no matter what.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing that, then you're also doing Pittman and Devontae Smith, right?
Yep.
Or are we starting Rashad White over any of those? No,
Well,
right?
Rashad White's already in there with the running back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
so
so
we're gonna,
Rashad White and then your 3 receivers. I would take them over DJ Shark, Hasty Pacheco, and DeAndre Carter.
Yeah, Lazard, Pittman, Devontae Smith. It's a pretty good receiving core. I'd be ready to go.
I'd be happy with that, Laura and Jim. Good luck to you both, and
Good luck.
hit us back up. Mo Diesel back in the chat. He
Welcome
says,
back.
Defense, Packers, Vikings, Giants, Jags, Falcons. Ooh, we got some matchups. Yeah, let's see here.
Those are not great. I'm taking the Giants.
You going to take the Giants against Washington? Lower scoring game.
Yep. And the most interceptable passes and mistake-prone plays, according to PFF, belongs to Tyler Heineke, and it's not even close. Taylor Heineke is not close. Yeah, he has thrown the most interceptable balls since he's become a starter, and he also has the most turnover possibilities with fumbles that his own team has recovered or have gone out of bounds, things of that nature. So I feel like like you said, NFC East slug or not, we're going to beat the crap out of each other kind of game.
Slug or not, I like that.
And these guys are going to want to, beat the crap out of each other, and they're going to run the ball, control the clock, limit possessions, and this guy likes to turn the ball over. I feel like there's a shootout coming in Detroit and Jacksonville, right? I feel like there's a shootout coming with the Vikings, and then the Jets, and probably the Packers. I saw them just get completely annihilated by the Eagles. They scored 40 points, and all they did was run the ball, really. So, yeah, give me the Giants. And I'll never want to start the Falcons, D.
Right on. I like it. Zach says, I like Dak and Burks for that. Oh, we were talking about that before. Yeah. Sarah Riley. My girl,
Welcome
Sarah.
back, Sarah.
Welcome back. Half point PPR. Start 1. ETN, Jamal Williams, Jeff Wilson, or Swift. She said she's worried about ETN's foot injury. I think ETN's foot injury will be okay. But, I mean, you have Jamal Williams there, which, you can rely on each and every week. Can't you, Juan?
Yeah, he's been getting in the end zone every single week. I haven't been able to bench him because when a guy's scoring that many touchdowns and they're using him around the goal line, it would be tough for me to choose between Etienne and Jamal Williams. Luckily, I have a league where I'm starting them both in our Dynasty League of Record. So I love that. I mean, I would say upside is Etienne, but with the way Jamal Williams is scoring touchdowns, he's upside too.
Yeah. I think Jamal Williams in a half point PPR. I think Jamal Williams might be your answer here.
Yeah, if it was PPR, I go Etienne. Half PPR, that's subtle of a difference. I'm probably going to go Jamal Williams and hopes he gets 2 touchdowns again today.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, he's had 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Nice snap share the last 3 games, over 40% snap share. Even with DeAndre Swift back on the field, it seems like Jamal Williams has carved out himself a nice fantasy role in this offense.
Yeah, double-digit carries. He gets most of the goal line work. It's a game that should be able to move. Both teams should be able to move the ball up and down the field, and then getting down there near the goal line, and that's where Jamal Williams has been eating. And like that fear that Sarah has with Etienne, that's real for me, because he can start the game and say, "Fine, we're going to play at 11:30." Game starts at 1:00, and then by 1:45 he steps on somebody's foot or goes out of bounds, and then has to stop somewhere, and then plants wrong, and then that foot becomes the problem, and then he doesn't play the rest of the game, just like he did last week where he burned you. So, yeah, Jamal Williams is safer for me than Etienne.
And Justin says Sutton is expected to play, and I don't really care. I'm not starting him by any means.
I just don't want any Broncos, especially against the Ravens. If I can avoid Sutton, I'm going to avoid him.
Fair. All right, Juan, let's run through some of these. We're almost we're a little behind on this, so let's do a little speed round for him.
You got it.
All right, Mitch Fantasy, welcome in. He says, needs to start 2 half-point PPR. Jeff Wilson, Najee Harris, Damian Pierce, Antonio Gibson. I'm definitely playing Pierce, and I'm going to play Najee Harris. Yep, okay,
Indeed.
Perfect. Zach wants to know, Debo, Zay Jones, Gallup, Cooper, Campbell, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. We know we're playing Zay Jones today. Do you trust Amari Cooper?
Yes. Because Debo's injured. I don't trust Gallup, and Campbell has been hit or miss.
But we got to play a flex too. So we have 2 spots. Zay Jones and Cooper are in. We just need to flex one. Debo, Gallup, or Campbell. That's the tricky part right there.
Can't play Debo.
Yeah, no, can't play Debo because we don't know if he's going to start. If he was playing, then I'd be all about it. But it doesn't look good. He's looking doubtful. So it's between Gallup and Campbell. Man, that's an icky situation. Give me Gallup.
Yeah, let's go Gallup. Campbell had a couple good games with Ryan there, but you don't know what to expect from that offense. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. And Mondo wants to know Gibson or Burks. Give me Burks.
Burks. Yeah, give me Burks.
Zach wants to know Ayuk or Devontae Smith.
Oof.
Give me Ayuk.
Ayuk.
Jim Rambo, coolest name in football. He says he also has Curtis Samuel on his bench, and that's where you should keep him right now. Paul JJ coming in from Facebook. He says traded CMC, Higgins, and Fant for Tyreek, James Conner, and Hunt. What y'all think about the trade? Also, Watson or Kirk? So Christian Watson or Christian Kirk? I like the usage of Christian Watson lately.
Yeah, I saw that big touchdown live on Sunday night late in the game there from Jordan Love. That was a nice play to see.
And he's got a great matchup against Jalen Johnson. I don't care what the wind is. I think Christian Watson will be targeted in this game. Give me Watson there.
And then I'll go opposite you, and I'll take Kirk. I know you don't like Christian Kirk, but I'm going to go Christian Kirk.
I would definitely trade Christian Kirk for Watson. There you go. I like the trade. I like the trade for you. Obviously, you turned CMC, Higgins, and Fant for Tyreek, who's a top 5 wide receiver this season. Yeah. James Conner is okay, and Hunt is but I mean, you got rid of Fant, who is not a big deal. Higgins, I may have stayed on the Higgins CMC side rather than have Tyreek and Conner. I obviously don't know what your other running back situation are.
Yeah, I was going to say you get a little depth by getting Hunt, and later on in the year they like to use him.
I don't mind the trade, especially with Jamar Chase coming back, getting rid of Higgins a little bit for a little bit more. Good move.
Yeah.
And Justin, our unpaid intern, comes in and says, Adam Schefter reports Deebo Samuel plans to play against the Dolphins.
But that's another one of those, if he plays and
How
injures
much?
himself in the slight, yeah, and if he injures himself in the slightest, is he gone for the rest of the game, or is he on a pitch count? You know, it scares me a little. I love Debo. I'd love to have him starting today, but
I
it's a good
mean,
matchup for him.
I'm in a situation where I need him to start today in some
I'm sure a lot of people
shallow
are. Yeah.
dynasty leagues. I mean, I'd rather play Debo than DJ Shark. That's for sure. That's for Shark.
That's for Shark.
Jim Rambo, coolest name in football. He says, one more question. With Mixon, I have Darrell Henderson, or I can pick up Hastings? Maybe Jermichael Hasty?
We go hasty, yeah. But what with Mixon questionable, he's saying he has Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson isn't really going to play if Etienne is active and good to go.
I mean, I would pick up Hasty. We saw him do some work when Etienne was down, but I think Etienne's going to play, and I think Mixon plays in this one.
Yeah, I really do too. I know they're saying he may not and all that. He was a long shot. I think Mixon finds a way to get on the field today. And if once he clears that concussion protocol, he's good. Like, he's gonna play.
Yeah.
You know, so, and against Kansas City, like, they're gonna want to run the ball.
Treyas wants to know Tua or Dak?
Dak.
I'm going Dak. JAC, welcome back. He says, should I start Deshaun Watson or Geno? Wow, this is the question of the day. I'm going Geno.
Yeah, just to be safe, let's see it first. If Deshaun Watson comes out, and I know we've been stashing him all year, those people who drafted him or picked him up and they've been holding on to him, I would wait a week to see if I have an alternative like Geno. If I have another option, then I'll go with that.
And Minnie Jordan, full PPR, choose a flex. Bam! Night. Per Keyline, if Mixon is out, Kyron, Warren, or Treylon Burks. It would be between Treylon Burks and Bam Knight for me, and I think I'm going to go Bam Knight.
I would too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trust that I'm going to get 15, 20 carries out of Bam.
Bam! Bo Hoyne. Welcome, Bo.
You.
Godwin or Kenneth Walker, full point PPR, and Tua or Fields. And do you think Josh Jacobs will play?
Questionable.
It's very questionable. But he's been questionable for almost the whole season. I don't see a world where Josh Jacobs doesn't play. As far as Godwin or Kenneth Walker, I know Kenneth Walker, I mean, last 2 games were right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's the Rams.
It's the Rams. I'm not really worried about that. He did find the end zone twice against Vegas to save his day last week. I think he could find the end zone again against LA. We have no Aaron Donald in this one, correct?
Yep.
So I think Kenneth Walker knocks it down. I think the Seahawks go back to the run game as much as possible. And to take him over Godwin, though, that's the question.
Yeah, I don't know about that because it's Monday night. Brady's got to throw it to somebody. He loves Godwin. If Lattimore comes back, he's on Mike Evans. Means Godwin's good to go. It's tough to bench Godwin, but it's tough to bench Kenneth Walker too, man. See, look, these teams are so good, dude. I wish I had that.
Let's answer the quarterback question first. Tua or Fields?
Fields.
You're going Fields. I think I might roll with you there with the rushing upside, even with the hurt shoulder. And then for the second part, Juan, I'm going to have to do it, buddy, because it's tough. Tilt of the week. I'm going to go Godwin. I mean, it's pretty tough matchup. Actually, up against New Orleans, they have, even in the slot, 24th against the slot in the last 4 weeks. But I know that he's going to get the target share, and that's what makes me happy. I guess Walker has a safe floor. Godwin has a higher ceiling. That's my opinion on that one.
I think they both have decent floors and they both have good ceilings. Like, Walker could rip off a long run, especially Aaron Donald. But Godwin just feels right to me. It feels like the safer play. And if I had to make that decision, that means my team's super strong. That means my other 2 running backs are really good. That means my other receivers are really good. And there's probably a flex option. And if I'm going to flex anybody, I think I flex Godwin, especially me chasing points on Monday night. I love to do that. So I almost can't resist that temptation. 2 even players, and one of them's at 1:00, and the other one's on Monday night. I'm going Monday night.
Yeah, and I mean, if Josh Jacobs doesn't play, I mean, you can always play Walker in his stead, right?
There you go. Yep.
Just
The only
keep an eye
problem,
on it.
they're both at 4:00, right? Both are later starts.
Yeah, the Vegas game is 4:25, and the Seattle game. What time is
4:05
Seattle?
it should be, or 4:25.
4:05. Yes, 4:05.
Yeah. So
So
you
you'll
will get an
know.
injury designation.
You'll know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Jacobs
right.
plays. Yeah. Play Godwin. Good
Grant
tilt,
Font-
but good tilt.
Grant Fontenot wants to know full PPR. He wants to know Dameon Pierce, Jamal Williams, or Terry McLaurin for a flex. Now, we know Dameon Pierce and Jamal Williams, they don't really catch too much out of the backfield. We mentioned that we did take the Giants defense in a situation earlier this morning. We do have, I mean, Scary Terry. He's got a decent matchup.
And he loves to force feed him that rock, man. I don't love Dameon Pierce. I've been using him like I'm gonna start him. And you're right, Cleveland's defense is terrible against the run. That's their recipe for them to have any semblance of success is going to be to hand it off to Dameon Pierce 20 times today. And Jamal Williams is on a heater, finding the end zone. McLaurin's a good target. This is a really good tilt, Grant Fontenot. What, like, we can't go back-to-back tilt of the week, can we?
I mean,
I don't think
tilt of the week. Oh, we just did go back to back tilt of the weeks.
I want to trade my entire team for Grant Fontenot's team because I want to have these kind of problems. Like I know, seriously, some of my teams, I wish I had all 3 of these guys to put in my lineup.
All right, so Dameon Pierce, I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna put him in. He's gonna get some
the
work.
matchup against Cleveland. Yeah.
I
think Burke.
I like Dameon Pierce over Jamal Williams only for the simple fact that Swift is on the uptick of production. So I have him slightly over Jamal Williams, even though he does get into the end zone. Hopefully Dameon Pierce gets into the end zone today. We could see a big break, which, Cleveland gives up touchdowns to the running back position. And then Terry McLaurin, yes, he's great. But like I said, we know for a fact that Dameon Pierce is going to get the ball. We can look for Washington to just hand it off 25, 30 times to Brian Robinson today.
Man, Dameon Pierce has, 15 carries in the last 2 games combined?
Yeah, it's a rough one. It's that, and that's why Grant Fontenot wants to know. That's where he's tilting, and it's a legitimate tilt, man. I think it's between Dameon Pierce and Terry McLaurin, and I'm taking the running back here. You don't have to agree with me.
I won't. I'm gonna go with Terry McLaurin.
All right.
Yeah, Heineke force feeds it to him. I feel like I got to go with Terry McLaurin. It scares me that if you go from 17 carries to 10 carries to 5 carries, it's just Dameon Pierce is going one way, and like you said, Swift is eating a little bit into Jamal Williams, so it keeps me off of that. And I think I'm gonna go with that.
His other running backs are Stevenson and Monty. So Stevenson obviously already played. He had a bad game, which makes me want to flip to the Terry McLaurin side for the upside.
Right? You go because Monty's going to give you the big game today, hopefully against the Packers. They just gave up 350 to the Eagles. I feel like Monty gets over 100 yards nice and easy today. So that's solid. And then it gives me McLaurin to give me a little upside. You're right. Let me get a big touchdown. Let me get a long play. Let me get something from Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I agree.
Great tilt, though. Back-to-back tilt of the week.
JAC wants to know, Mike Evans, Kamara, P. Ryan, and Keenan Allen start 1 wide receiver flex and 1 running back 3/4 PPR. I don't think it really
Keenan
matters. I think we're playing Keenan Allen. We're playing Mike Evans. And if Mixon doesn't play, you're playing Pirine. Otherwise, you're playing Kamara.
Kamara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you? You would start P. Ryan if there was no Mixon, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Over Kamara.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And Mike Evans, it doesn't matter Lattimore or not.
Doesn't matter. Not in this
Okay.
situation.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not benching him for Kamara or Pirine.
Yeah, you're right.
John Cutter coming back in. He says Najee or Rashad White today. I guess this relies on the if Leonard Fournette plays. If
I
Fournette
know,
plays,
but we
then
won't
I'm going
know.
Najee.
We won't know.
Yes.
Yes. No, if Fournette plays,
Give me
I'm playing
Najee. Give me Najee regardless. Give me Najee.
Yeah, it's a good matchup against
It's
Atlanta.
a good matchup against Atlanta, and if Fournette plays, they're going to split some work. So with that being said, give me Najee. And we are at the injury designation time of our show. So let's see. Oh, Kenny Golladay is out. Whoop-de frickin' do.
It's your
I
guy,
mean,
Chef.
really. And that's all I have right now. Man, I will keep you guys updated as soon as the news comes in. But
It should start pouring in right now.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, David Njoku's out. Trevor Siemian is out. Nothing updated. Everybody else is still the same thing. They haven't updated it at all.
All right, fair enough.
They'll start rolling in.
Brett Francois. Bonjour.
In.
Start Tua or Fields?
Fields.
Yep. He also wants to know, start Pittman or Thielen. How do you feel about having Pittman in the flex this week? I like it better than Adam Thielen going up against the Jets.
Yep.
You know, that's something that
both corners are really good on the Jets, and they could kind of make life a little bit difficult for those receivers. And Thielen's just been unreliable all season, kind of. So, yeah, I like Pittman.
Great tilt there, Brett. And Lucius coming in. Lucius, Fields, Brady, or Trevor Lawrence? And I think it would be between Fields and Lawrence in this instance. Against Detroit, Trevor Lawrence kind of started to get it together last week. I don't know, Juan. What are you thinking?
I want some of that kitty cat bowl up there. I want some of that Jags and Lions game. But, again, I was there, and I saw it, and I want Fields.
I'm on the other side. I'm going to go with Lawrence here. 29
Sutton,
for 321
Judy.
and 3 last week up against Baltimore. I think Detroit's defense can give it away, and I think especially if ETM plays, Lawrence will have all of his weapons today in a potential shootout. Yeah, give me Trevor Lawrence. Wow.
I'm going to stick with Fields. We have a healthy Sutton. We have a healthy Judy. We have a healthy Antonio Gibson. Michael Carter is officially out.
Michael Carter's out.
Yes, Chef.
Bam.
He's inactive.
Bam.
Yep. Bam.
All right. So Lucius, flip a coin, Fields or Lawrence. If
Can't go wrong.
If Swanson was here, he would go Lawrence.
He probably would.
Bob Dole, what's up, buddy? Good morning, y'all. He says, should I start Deshaun Watson or Geno Smith? Question of the day, dude. The answer is Geno. And he also wants to know, does he start Lockett or Godwin?
Godwin for me.
Godwin for me as well. Although I haven't really looked at the matchup for Lockett, to be honest. He does have a good matchup against the Rams.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Both
And he's
wide
got a chance to
receivers
hit
do.
over the top. Yeah.
Even with Jalen
just
Ramsey
rather
in there.
Yeah, I'd rather go with Godwin, though.
Fair enough. He says, sorry, he just heard his answer. Lucius wants to know Kmet or Hurst today. Talked about Hayden Hurst a little bit earlier. Do we trust
potential
Cole
shootout
Kmet?
against Kansas City? I mean,
Crapshoot.
I know the tight end thing is just like who falls in the end zone. Kemet had a couple good games. The last time Justin Fields was healthy, he was playing really well. That game, the Miami Detroit situation, like when he played those games, he had 6 targets, 7 targets. But it's whether or not these guys find the end zone, man. Whether or not they have like a top 10 type of week. And against Green Bay, it's going to be windy. I think I might go Hurst.
Trying to see if I can get a little bit more insight.
Etienne is officially in. Romeo Dobbs is out.
Give me Hurst. Give me Hurst. I like the matchup just a little bit better. You said Romeo Dobbs is out?
Yes, sir.
And who is in?
Etienne.
ETN. Let's go.
Yeah, fire him up.
Yeah, buddy. All right, and Larry Addison wants to know. Thank you, Larry. Larry writes in almost every week. He wants to know, is Jamal Williams still the pick over Swift, and is Pollard still a starter with Elliott getting the work he has the last 2 weeks? I think Jamal Williams is still the pick over Swift right now.
Yeah, when he stops scoring touchdowns or when he stops getting more carries, then we could start to worry about it. But he seems like the go-to guy around that goal line.
Yeah, and they're going to be around the goal line with the Jags defense. So I like this scenario for Jamal Williams and for Swift, but I like Williams just a little bit more. Pollard is still a starter with Elliott getting the work he has the last 2 weeks. I believe so. I don't think you could take Pollard out yet. Can you? No.
I'm not benching him yet, no. No, he had 18 carries last week. He's had at least double-digit carries since week 6 every single week. And in 4 of those weeks, he's gone over 80 yards. And he has 4 touchdowns in that time. Not to mention the one game where he blew up and had 6 catches for another 100 yards. Like, yeah, I'm not benching Pollard right
now. I guess it would be whether or not, who are you benching him for?
I guess that's fair.
With the Zeke
what
production.
My options are.
Yeah. Trey S., he says, I'm actually already starting Olave in that lineup. That's funny.
That's what we were talking about earlier, yeah, right?
Yeah. Dak Prescott or Deshaun Watson from Ball Glove Blueprint, and it's going to be the blueprint of Dak Prescott.
Give me Dak. Dakota Rain.
Also wants to know Rashad White or Brian Robinson today.
Oh, that's a good tilt.
It is a good tilt, and I would have to say Brian Robinson for the uncertainty of Leonard Fournette.
Yep, give me Robinson in the short points.
This one's going to be a tough one. Brandon Creasy coming in. Pacheco or Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Welcome in, Brandon. Oh, man. I love me some Pacheco. And then I'm a Dolphins fan. Oh, this is so difficult.
Yeah, because, Pacheco's been getting a lot of work lately. But
give me J-Dub.
Since he is a little, you're going to
go J-Dub. Revenge game. Yes, revenge game. I feel like my Dolphins are going to do something today. I feel like it's going to be rainy. We're going to need to run the ball. And I feel like he can do it. I feel like anything can happen with him and Raheem Mostert. Like either one of those guys. Oh, Darius Slayton is playing. They're firing in the injury.
I think you can lean more on Jeff Wilson up against the 49ers than you can against Pacheco up against Cincinnati. They're going to have to throw the ball with Kansas City, obviously. I think Miami can lean on the run just a little bit more, and
they're going to have
whether or not who gets in the end zone between Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson is undetermined right now, but I think they're going to utilize both of them, and we could potentially see both of them get into the end zone.
Yeah, I think Jeff Wilson more likely to score than Raheem Mostert, and they like him around the goal line. He's got a violent running style right now that he's using, and yeah, I like Jeff Wilson a lot.
I agree. Good stuff.
Thank you for asking. No, good tilt, Brandon.
All right. Cash's Stylist. What's up, Cash's Stylist?
Welcome back.
They say pick 2, P. Ryan, Godwin, or Christian Kirk.
I'm going to have to go with the receivers because we don't know what's going to happen with Mixon. Yeah. You have the pivot with P. Ryan and Godwin because Godwin's on Monday night and P. Ryan's a 4:00 game. So you do have that pivot. But I would start Kirk and then only one of the other two.
Yeah, I would pick Godwin and Kirk in this one.
But if Mixon's out, Chef, I might go P. Ryan over Godwin. If I find out later on that Mixon is out and I can start P. Ryan, I might start P. Ryan over Godwin. I don't know. No?
I don't think so. I think I'm sticking with Godwin.
Yeah. I mean, all right, I'll go with
With
you.
Jamar Chase back, I think they're gonna throw the ball a little bit more. All right, Zachariah's Aviation Channel. He says, "Hey man, who should I flex? Patterson, Rashad White, or Leonard Fournette?" He also has Bam Knight and the backup Rams running back I could pick up from free agency. Well, pick up Bam Knight.
Bam, yeah, go get Bam. Yeah.
Go get Bam, and I think you play Bam over. Can we say we play him over Patterson? Yes.
Yes.
Do we play him over Rashad White or Leonard Fournette?
If they both play, yes. If we knew Lenny was out, again, the same thing has been happening, then I would go just Rashad White. But because we don't know that, go Bam and play it safe.
Yeah, I agree. I would go out and pick up Zonovan Knight, Bam, and play him. Yeah, that's the easiest go-to I think we've had so far.
Yep.
Well, if you guys have any more questions, drop them in the chat. We have about 15 minutes left of Sunday tilt action. I'm going to go ahead and update some of this. We're in here. We got Dobbs out.
Yeah, Kenny Golladay is out. OJ Howard is out. Darius Slayton is in. I have a bunch of alerts here.
Michael
it's also
Carter
a bunch
is
of
out.
Ones. Out. Yeah, he is inactive.
Which we kind of knew was going to happen.
Yeah, he was the rare doubtful. Like, it's rare nowadays when they put the doubtful designation up, but he had that one going. So we kind of knew he wasn't playing.
And Travis Etienne is playing, so we're good there.
Yeah, and Njoku's out, Hamler out, Sutton active, Judy active, Dobbs out.
Njoku's out, huh?
He is out. Yeah, that's why I have Harrison Bryant in my tight end spot on my DraftKings on my DFS lineup.
Oh, you sneaky SOB, you.
Yeah, I had to get a cheap option in there.
Any news from the Jamar Chase side of things? Is he going to play today?
Not yet. We don't know, and we probably won't know until about 2:30. That game's a 4:00 start.
You're right. Yeah, let's see here. All right, so I've got Commanders. Ooh, Benjamin St. Juste is out. That's interesting.
You got Gibson in, right?
Yep.
Gibson is active.
Yeah, I see it now. Jameson Williams, Judy, Cortland Sutton is active. Zay Jones, Gibson, Najee Harris active. Inactive is Rex Burkhead, Michael Carter, and Chase Young. Looking pretty good. Oh, for the Steelers, TJ Watt is active today. That helps in my IDP league. I might have to switch that back up. I'm not sure if I want to play him, though.
As far as matchups, give a big bump up to that Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper connection. Derek Stingley Jr., the rookie, the standout rookie from the Texans, is out today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That gives me maybe even a shot at DPJ. Bumps him up a couple spots probably for me, and I might be thinking about Donovan Peoples-Jones in some leagues.
Mondo coming back in. He says David Bellinger or Foster Moreau.
Your boy Daniel Bellinger.
Daniel Bellinger, yeah, Danny Bellinger. I think I'm going to stick with Foster Moreau.
Yeah, I was going to say Daniel Bellinger might be. This is his first game since he hurt his eye. Yeah, remember he had that ugly injury to the eyeball, the eye socket there.
But I think they're going to ease him back into. Yeah, I would go Moreau.
At some point, he's got to get the Waller usage. No, like some of it.
I mean, he did pretty well last week.
Yeah,
I think he caught a touchdown last week.
Yeah, that's what saved him. I'm pretty sure. because he hasn't been getting the opportunities. Yeah, Moreau
He
hasn't been
did
getting the
have,
opportunities.
3 for 33 and a touchdown, and that's what it's going to take for both of these
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
today. And I think Moreau has a better shot with just being on the field more. Moreau practiced in light this week. I'm going to
He
go
caught
with
a touchdown in
Moreau.
two of the last 3 games. He has caught a touchdown, so
Yep.
it's a safer play, especially against the Mandos. The Mandos play good defense. They should be all right. So, yeah, let's go Moreau. But the tight end world is scary, Chef. It's a
Yeah, for
tough
sure.
world.
Zach wants to know Jamal Williams, ETN, Najee, Zeke, Barkley, Waddle, Devontae Smith, Ayuk. He says he needs 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. So we're setting
Wow.
his lineup.
I hope it's not against one of us somewhere.
You're definitely gonna play ETN. You're gonna play. Yeah, I mean, do you have to play Barkley? I think
And Waddle.
Waddle.
I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you have to play. Oh, you have to play 2 wide receivers. So it's between Ayuk and Devontae Smith. Give me Ayuk if Debo's out. And then I think I would flex Zeke.
You're gonna have to make the decision on that early on with like fading Devontae Smith and going with Ayuk. You won't know if Debo's out or not because you either play Devontae or you don't.
Then I'll pass. I think I'll still go with Zeke, Barkley, ETN, and Waddle and Ayuk.
You play Zeke over Najee?
Yeah.
So Etienne, Barkley, Waddle, Ayuk, and Zeke.
Let me just double check that running back matchup between Zeke and Najee.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Etienne, Barkley, Waddle, Ayuk, and I think give me Jamal Williams, man.
Oh man, we're all over the place with this one.
It's because only Zach would come at us with some crazy sideways. We need 5 guys type situation here, and they're all good. They're all good. There's no bad start there. I mean, what's the worst start? Devontae. I mean,
Zeke's been good. Zeke's been good for the past 2 weeks. So I'm playing.
Him.
Yeah, I think we got to play Zeke. We got to play Barkley. I think it's between. Yeah, I mean, oh man, this one's so hard, dude.
Hit him with the button, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
You have.
Tilt of the week. Tilt of the last 10 minutes. Jesus. Like
I know. The last half hour has been rapid fire with the tough ones.
Yeah. I don't want
know
to
it's the
bench
Mando.
Zeke. I don't want to bench Barkley, really, but
you can't bench Barkley. Listen, I know that it's a tough defensive line. They, all world and all that, but Chase Young may not play. Saquon Barkley runs 70% of his carries are to the outside, so it doesn't really concern the defensive line. It's getting to the edge and getting to the outside. And in the second level, they're not as good as they are in that front level. And I'm not trusting Jamin Davis and Bostic or whoever to
Chase Young is out. Chase Young is out.
There you go. So even easier for Barkley. So Barkley's a slam dunk for me. Waddle, I can't sit because he's on one of those legendary heaters. Etienne's playing in the matchup of the day with that Detroit game.
Same as Jamal Williams.
Yeah. But Jamal Williams at least has the questions of whether or not he splits with Swift. So I'm not.
Which he will.
bullish.
I mean, we've seen the 41%
100%.
snap share the past 2 to 3 weeks. So I know he's going to split. I expect ETN to get the bulk of the work.
Right. So Barkley and Etienne should be the bulk of the work on their team. They're the focal points of their offense. Waddle is a surefire start. Ayuk hasn't not found the end zone because you have to pick 2 receivers, remember. So we're going to eliminate Devontae Smith and go with Ayuk and Waddle in the same game.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to go with Barkley and Etienne for sure at running back. Now we're just picking the flex. And is it Najee, Zeke, or Jamal Williams?
Man. That's so hard.
They're
Najee
right
going
there.
up
Like
against
they have
Atlanta.
In everybody's rankings, they have to be right there, like all up against each other. Yeah, Najee's got a good matchup against Atlanta.
Zeke's got a good matchup against Indy. He's been good for the last 2 weeks.
Jamal Williams can't stop scoring touchdowns, and he's playing the Jags. Like,
I'm still
it's tough,
sticking with
man.
Zeke. I'm still sticking with Zeke. I am. I can't turn down the fact that he's done what he's done in the past couple games, man, and that's I
All
have
right.
to stick with it until I see something different. You know,
I'll ride with you, but it's real close between him, Najee, and Jamal Williams. That's a really tough tilt. Zach, either
15
way, you're in
carries
good
for
shape.
42 yards and 2 touchdowns against Minnesota. Last week against the Giants, 16 for 92 and a touchdown, averaging 5.75 yards per carry last week against the Giants. I think he continues it against Indianapolis. I think he's your safest bet here.
All right, let's go. Ride it. Wow. Good tilt.
Great tilt.
Yeah.
Johnny be good.
Johnny be good.
Down
That was a
in
great movie back
Louisiana
in the day.
in the Evergreen. He wants to know Pierce, Rashad White, Olave, half point PPR. I guess we're gonna pick one out of these guys. Who?
And it was near New Orleans, not the Evergreens.
Oh yeah, that's it. Let me get Olave.
Okay.
I mean, it's Olave and it's at Olave and Pierce for me. It is half point PPR. I have a feeling that Pierce and Olave is going to be closer than we expect.
There are injuries to Sean Murphy-Bunting and Antoine Winfield. They're both listed as doubtful for that game.
Ooh.
So the Bucs secondary is a little banged up. He's already a home run hitter and basically the only offensive weapon that's been successful for them lately. I'm going to keep riding the hot hand with Olave and hope he gives me something and gets in the end zone and gives me a long touchdown.
I agree. And with Pierce's doubtful past 2 weeks of production up against Olave, this week, I'll lean Olave.
Yeah, and Burkhead's coming back this week, and I know that's
nope. He's out. He's out.
He's out.
He's out.
Oh, I thought he was going to play.
He's out.
Oh wow. All right.
I mean, it could be a great game for Dameon Pierce. It could be a comeback game, and I think it is, and that's why I put Pierce over McLaurin in one of our leagues. I think it's the Dirty League.
Yeah, I won't trust it this week though. After 10 carries and then 5 carries and that anemic looking offense and Kyle Allen's your quarterback, give me Olave on Monday night.
Agreed. But yeah, man. I think we made it to the bottom. Yep. Oh,
nice. We got through other tilts. What did you ever send out the link for the DraftKings or no?
Nope. I'm not trusting it. Nope. Not after I have a claim pending on my account now and all kinds of weird stuff. I don't trust sharing links on the internet right now, unfortunately. And I apologize to anybody that wanted to sign up for that. But Juan, I'm going to take a pass this week due to my recent circumstance.
I'm going to have to put it as the Millie Maker.
Well, I mean, you set your lineup and then, you just retract it. There's nobody in the thing. That's fine. Maybe I'll jump in there and, last minute kind of thing. No, I'm not doing it.
Take my lunch money.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it to you. Nope. I did it to you last week. I'll save you your funds.
I got you the week before. We're even.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And it'll be a good tiebreaker next week. Make sure I get all these DraftKings inquiry claims cleaned up first before I go ahead and do it. I mean, I changed my password and everything, but man, I'm not. I really would just want to pull all the money out of my account at this point. Warranted, to say the least. Yeah. And you've seen my wins. I share my wins with you. Via text.
You do well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a shame. I'm not going to gamble this week at all. I think I'm going to get into the Christmas spirit and Christmatize the house today. Go out there, blow some leaves, put some lights up. It's the way to go. It's at least the sun's shining here in New Jersey. But
not today, Chef, I can't do that today. The Dolphins are playing the 49ers. I'm not doing any of that. Just there's a beautiful slate of football games happening today. Mahomes is playing Burrow. We got all kinds of fantasy stuff on the line.
Oh, well, welcome
it's almost
to
playoffs.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. You do realize that I will be blasting the games over speaker while I'm outside.
Of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Don't worry about it.
That's the way to do it. You won't miss anything.
Oh, no. But I think that's gonna wrap up the show, guys. I think that's enough. We've had a great Sunday tilt, week 13.
Oof, crazy tilts.
Yeah, man. We have one more week to make it into the playoffs.
Indeed.
Join us next week. Everybody, thank you for hitting us up in the chat with your questions today. It was popping off, up to 20 people in the chat at once today, awesome. Which we always love. And Zach, always laying it down for us. Always
love Zach.
Another fantastic Sunday tilt. Until next week, thank you from myself, James. You can find me at FF_chef on Twitter, and you can find Juan at FF One of a Kind.
Indeed.
Oh, wait. And one last tilt from Kyle Mayer wants to know Pittman or Zonovan. Bam! Night. PPR. What do we say?
Bam!
Bam! Bam!
That's been the theme of the day.
I'm rolling with Zonovan Knight over Pittman, even though Mondo doesn't agree. But let me get Zonovan. Bam! One more time there. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We'll check you out next week, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One last week. Can't wait for it. Until next week.
Indeed.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Sunday Tilt. Visit us on YouTube at youtube.com/thetiltisreal and like and subscribe. We're live every Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you all next week on The Tilt is Real.